This is a summary of Mark Granovetter's 1985 article, Economic Action and Social Structure, The Problem of Embeddedness. Mark Granovetter began his piece by saying, if we are going to understand the cause of economic actions, we need to ask, how do our social relations affect our economic behavior? Granovetter stated that we have to consider the role of the structure of our social relations because they are always present during economic action. Economic action cannot happen with at least two people. This view of social relations as an influential determinant of economic action was uncommon at the time. Granovetter wrote that the dominant explanations of economic action at the time the article was published were either under-socialized explanations or over-socialized explanations. Under-socialized accounts of economic behavior were explanations associated with both Thomas Hobbes and neoclassical economists, who assert that people behave in ways to maximize their own interests and are not influenced by other factors. Over-socialized explanations stated that economic action is determined by external forces like social class, religion, or gender. Granovetter said, well, neither really seems to be accurate explanation, and that what really determines economic behavior in the context of industrial civilization is the structure of our social relations. To explain his point, he decided to examine the concepts of trust and malfeasance in economic relations. In his paper, he states that the people who believe economic behavior is under-socialized and determined by our own interests would always be trying to get the upper hand and never be able to develop trust, and that according to over-socialized groups, we would never act to take advantage of someone's trust because our behavior would be determined by social forces like class and gender. For Granovetter, these two explanations of trust just aren't accurate. Instead, he wrote that trust and malfeasance are based on the structure of our social relations. While he doesn't explicitly state what he means by structures of social relations, I assume he means how often we interact with someone and how close we are to them. For Granovetter, trust in others is determined by our past experiences with them and whether we will have future relations with them. Therefore, the major influence on our economic behavior is the structure of our relationship with the people we are interacting with. An example of how the structure of our social relations determines our economic action is tipping waiters. Granovetter wrote that when we don't tip a waiter at a restaurant we visit during a business trip to a town that we will never return to, it isn't because we have an interest in not tipping them, but because we will never see them again. Similarly, we do tip waiters in our town not because it is the polite thing to do or because we don't need the money, but because we are likely to see them again. Granovetter concludes his paper by arguing how economic action within hierarchical organizations and between firms is accounted for not by under-socialized explanations of self-interest or by over-socialized explanations of class etiquette, but instead by the structure of our social relations with the people we are interacting with. And that's what the paper is about. If you like this video, let me know by clicking the like button. And if you're interested in more videos like this, go ahead and subscribe to my channel.